So, hello there. I know it's been a while since I have filmed and talked about the ego. I was just going through another episode of hell and I was letting go of that hell. When there's lots of hell I have to let go of, I don't feel myself. So today I'm going to be talking about why it's important for you to actually let go of the ego and how is the world suffering from the presence of the ego. So first of all, the ego is present in everything you do. For example, if you have to make a decision, the ego will give you ideas. You have to just do simple things like what, brushing your teeth, taking a shower, organizing your place, or learning a skill, getting healthier and eating healthier, creating micro good habits in your life. It's gonna get involved in it and will tell you not to do it, and it will keep getting involved and tell you, oh, why do you have to do it? It's not important. Well, you're gonna die anyways, and create all those sorts of thoughts. So this, you could, let's say you could take this, you put it in, for example, a company. What if you're no longer the only person that's involved? What if you're no longer, it's not just about brushing your teeth, it's not just about taking your bed and organizing your place, but also other people are in the picture. It's not just you anymore. You have to, for example, I'll give you an example. Let's say you work in a place, in a restaurant, or you work in a company, finance, technology. I don't really have to give that much examples. Just that you work in a place where many people are involved, and whatever you do is going to have a consequence into their lives. Let's say in the restaurant you were supposed to clean a plate well, or a cup of glass, but you didn't. The ego told you, oh, you don't have to do it, you know. They won't notice. Just leave it like that. And you serve that cup of glass to the client, and now that client, a few days later, has gotten sick and has catched the virus because you did not clean that glass very well, or the fork, or the spoon, whatever you didn't clean well. And maybe didn't have a very strong immune system and died. And you were thinking to yourself, well, it's just a normal thing. Or let's say you heard about the story and you think you feel guilty, you say, and you don't understand why, and you try to repress it. So you know now that in that glass you might have just transported the virus because you didn't clean it well. And now you know you have contributed in someone's death. That's also that's a way to see that laziness and ego, it doesn't just affect you, it affects everybody around you. And there's also another example. Let's say you're working in a place and everybody in that place are not in a very light mood and they're not happy, they're sad, they're trying to just cope with life, push themselves through that day. I don't know what everybody's going through. And then you go in with your hell, you you try to make them angry or blame them for your mood. You say, oh, I'm trapped in this place with these horrible people, I don't want to be with them. And all they do is just nag around. This is when you're on a low level of consciousness. So you also affect them and you make it worse instead of making it easier for each other. The other scenario is that you would actually keep your health for yourself, let it go, and you would actually you might be the light in that place. Maybe you will cheer them up and they will have more courage and energy to do what they're supposed to be doing. That's an example. Or for example, they have low energy level, and because you are going higher on higher scales of consciousness, you do what you're supposed to be doing without thinking, and letting go the resistance. What do? You are an example to them. Now they're no longer lazy. They have a good example next to them, and they see they have hope in this world, and they just naturally mimic you and do what you're doing. So you make other people's lives easier. This is also another example. Another thing I could speak of is corruption, and because corruption is the most common and something that makes sense to everyone. So the existence of corruption is also the existence of ego. It's those micro, little tiny tasks that everybody has to do, but they don't. There's times when people have to let go and not feel jealousy or insecure or attack or want or greedy or prideful, but they still go along with those emotions, and that's how corruption becomes a very present thing in that society. I could give an example. For example, someone who has a chance to say they work so hard to find an occasion or a job that can make their life better, and then comes a person in that office that tells them no. They say no to them to get that job just because they felt insecure and they didn't want them to. That person has a low level of consciousness. This is a way. So when you follow the ego, you make other people's lives difficult, and you also make your own karma. You make it worse every second instead of making your next life better and your current life. Because whatever you do right now is also gonna go with you even in the next lives. It's not just now. This is why people take it in a light way. You don't have to. It doesn't have to be, for example, it has a large, horrible effect, quar or something, for it to be something important. Sometimes you just have to do what is right, what you're supposed to be doing, even when everything's going fine and there's no need to do it. Just because it's the right thing to do. And you don't need something in return, because that's the truth. You have to act the way you're supposed to act. Doesn't matter if you're getting something or you're not getting anything. Yeah, and corruption is something that's very common thing, and everybody can understand what corruption is, even kids or teenagers. They know what it is. So those are one, let's say, types of reasons on why letting go of the ego and working on yourself is important. So you have to know that the reason there's suffering on this planet is because people are holding on to their ego instead of letting it go, because the light of God comes through human beings. It comes through us. So you have to choose to be a light on this planet instead of an additional weight, an emotional person, and give each other love and forgive. So you have to forgive every person on this new planet, no matter what happened or what they did, because they don't know what they're doing, and because it's the right thing to do. Some other people might say to you that, oh, you have to forgive people because they will control you if you hate them. this shouldn't be the intention, your intention. Your intention should be not to forgive people because it's the right thing to do. If your intention is to get the benefit, you won't really reach enlightenment. You will always be on a limited level of consciousness. What do you think?